full attention? Is it already recording?
Yeah, it's recording right now. So, Brandon, what do you think about people living on Mars?
I think that people living on Mars is the next step in evolving our humanity, and that we will have a complete planet to our own that we can govern it as we see fit, and it will be a completely new way of life.
Would you live on Mars? Like, if you could?
Yes, but only after probably like a generation of people have been there.
Living there?
Maybe for like 10, 15 years, that way they can...
So like in your next life?
Maybe.
Yeah, you'll consider it. I don't think I would live on Mars. Like, never. I would never live on Mars. I would think it was so weird.
Oh.
I don't think I would live on Mars, but that just has to do with the fact that, like, you can't take your family and stuff, and as much as I don't necessarily want to always be around my family.
As much as necessary, so you don't love your family? That's what you were going to say.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I love my family. But, like, I would like to visit them, and all you can do if you live in Mars is, like...
Live there forever.
Live there forever and ever and ever and ever. Which is just the worst.
I mean, but one day's going to come where...
How are they going to bury people on Mars? They can't even go outside.
Ashes burn them, I guess?
Well, they don't have an incinerator.
They're taking a shitload of... Can I say shit?
Yeah.
So just delete everything and then...
Right?
They can burn them because they're taking a lot of equipment up.
Why don't they just, like, float them into space?
Because...
It's like RIP.
No, that's considered a space littering.
Are there laws against that?
No, there actually aren't.
No, you can actually murder people in space and no one can do anything about it.
Yeah. I mean...
How do you know that?
Because there's no laws.
Laws are only governed by, like, distance.
Nations.
Like, even if you're just out in the middle of the ocean, you can, like, shoot up heroin and rape people and
But there's,
stuff.
like, maritime
still...
law.
And that's why we, like, illegal dumping and stuff, they just go just out of, like, the range of our jurisdiction and then shit in the ocean, and then it's okay.
I thought there was, like, maritime law, though, or something. I don't necessarily know what that is, though.
Who controls it? The UN doesn't really have any authority.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's actually really true. What I think is really stupid, not stupid, but who gives them the power to colonize Mars? Like, whose rights do they have to buy?
Yeah, is NASA...
It's
Is
not
it NASA? Who is
no. It's a Dutch company. It's not American at all. It's a non-profit organization owned by a for-profit Dutch company.
That's terrifying.
What's the name of it?
Mars One. That's the name of the non-profit. Then there's...
Why is it a non-profit? Where are they getting their funding from?
From the Dutch for-profit.
The government?
It's not. It's a private company.
I thought there was, like, this one super ultra-rich dude who was, like, in charge of all of this, and that was his plan. Like, he wanted to do this.
I mean, he's
Isn't
probably
there a Backstreet Boy that's gone to space?
Maybe.
So,
Baby, you could go to space. You have enough money, you could do that. Pay, like, I think it's like $40,000 or something, and the Russians will, like
I'd rather...
launch you up, and then you come back down.
I'd
in,
rather
like,
go
a
to
minute or two.
college
yeah.
than go to space.
Yeah, but she can do both.
Why don't you do both?
I don't have money to do that.
Okay, so there's two co-founders of the. Let's see. Oh, where is the company? Mars One is a non-profit foundation that will establish permanent human settles on Mars. Mars One is a Dutch non-profit foundation. It is the mother company of Interplanetary Media Group, a for-profit company, which enables the foundation to secure funds from its investors. That's all it says.
That's so shady. I hate that.
I mean, I just think the whole idea of it is
It just sounds like a television show. Like, I feel like it's an ABC television show where...
And none of it's actually real.
Yeah, like, none of it's real. Like, it's all, like, a social
I
experiment.
mean, we've already like gone to the moon and all that shit.
I mean,
Did we actually?
Yeah, did we?
Maybe.
I don't really believe in conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I actually think they did go.
I, like, hope they would.
No, I think they did because one of the guys, some person came up to him and was like, "You guys are all a bunch of fakes," and like started yelling at him, and he punched him in the face. I don't think he would punch him in the face unless he actually went.
I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily true. Like, someone's insulting you.
Yeah, but
No
I
matter-
mean, like,
No, but
okay,
that's
it
what
wouldn't-
people get defensive when they lie.
I feel like you wouldn't be that defensive unless you actually risked your life to go into space for science and all that shit. Like, if he hadn't gone, he
Yeah.
might have been just like, "No, fuck you, like, get out of here," or something like that. But like, he punched him in the face, and he's like, you know, somebody who like we look up to and is like one of our like stars. You know, but he still fucking punched the guy in the face. Like, I think that shows like you did it. Like, fuck you, I risked my life for this. Like, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Note to self, Brandon will definitely punch you in the face if you call him a liar.
If he actually
If I went to space.
If you went to space.
I don't know.
No, it's not about the violence. It's about the principle of the matter.
Oh my god.
The poison frog and Nebites bombites.
Okay, alright, it's filming right now. Okay. If you believed in something enough, would you, like, fight someone about it?
I would fight them with my words, not my actions.
Right, yeah, I don't think I'd actually get physical, but I think that might have to do with, like, I don't know. Would you, Brandon?
Definitely.
You would?
I think it has to do
No.
with
It's a more
gender stereotypes.
yeah, I feel like it is kind of a gendered thing where we as like women don't want to be as
I think I would only fight someone if I was drunk.
Yeah, I can't necessarily see you fighting someone.
It would have to be a really good reason, and they would have to probably be like likely enough for me to be able to kick their
Like,
ass.
or would they have to throw the first, like, say someone hit you first.
I would bite their nose off.
No, you wouldn't.
Would you?
If it went down to it, I wouldn't give a shit. I'd fucking crack
you'd
a bottle
actually
on
bite
somebody's
their
head.
nose.
I feel like you would like try and leave.
I mean, if somebody already punched me, I would fucking like stick my thumbs in their eyes and
Oh my
gouge
god!
their eyes
Oh my
out.
god! I would never do that. I would never, like, I wouldn't want to feel that sensation, to be
I don't know.
honest.
That's
Right?
That's where I get.
That's the
noise.
money. That's the money feel.
You're sick. You're a sick person.
What other things do you think are like specifically gendered other than like fighting?
That or what?
Like, do you think that like you're like very gendered to your like gender identity?
Of course.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you think that? And you think that inherently means that you wouldn't like fight someone
The thing
because
is,
you're so gendered to be female?
I don't know. I feel that I think about this a lot actually. Like if my parents hadn't raised me to be such a girly girl, like I wonder how differently I would have
feminine
turned
you would
out. Yeah, or if like I actually am feminine.
Well, yeah. Well, I feel like some people try really hard to like gender their girls or whatever into like feminine roles, and it doesn't necessarily work. So I guess maybe you are just like naturally feminine.
Yeah.
Do you think that you were gendered like a lot by your parents, Brandon, to be masculine?
Not really.
Not in like, not outright.
I feel like I just maybe society itself
Like
has
school.
implemented that, and so I've just already liked kind of like the masculine thing. Like I always had really like male toys that were like
Well, I mean, like advertisements, especially like gear you towards that, for sure.
I liked video game. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I just fit into the stereotype pretty well, but I don't think my parents like really pushed it on me or anything.
I I think that my parents did, for sure. Because I did like ballet folklorico and stuff, and like, so hair and makeup and the dresses and stuff like that. So I think for sure I was gendered to, I mean, like, my parents specifically, like, wanted me to be that.
Be girly girl.
To be very girly, very feminine. But I also, in the same breath, think that, like, my parents wouldn't have, like, been upset if I didn't want to do those things. Do you think that your parents would have been upset if you, like, didn't want to be super feminine?
Well, I
Like,
mean,
if you didn't want to use all the products that your mom would get you and stuff?
I think, cause like there were a lot of events that I didn't go to, and I would outright like say like,
Well, you
no,
didn't
that's-
have a quinceañera.
Yeah, I didn't have a quinceañera. I didn't go to the Blanco y Negro, which is like the big coming out party for all the girls, and it's just like I didn't do a lot of that stuff, and I would like vocally say it was stupid.
Well, do you think that that had to do with you being feminine or you being a Mexican and American? And like your mom not holding the same values?
I mean, that definitely had a lot to do with it, but it was also the fact that I didn't want to put makeup and a dress on for a night and walk
Yeah.
around in heels.
Yeah.
While all the other girls like loved it.
That's why I didn't go to my junior prom. I was like, that sounds lame.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. I guess it was like a little both, to be honest.
Yeah. I think for sure. Like your parents' ideals like shape how you view certain things. Was your dad disappointed that you didn't want to have those things or like do those things?
He like expected me to, but he wasn't disappointed because for my dad it was like, oh, thank God, a social event I don't have to go to.
Yeah.
Those are stressful. We've been waiting for you. You have to talk.
We have prodding questions, Brandon.
Prod.
What's it like to be a white man in America?
The best.
Wait, don't edit that out.
It's true. Do you think that people view you as, I mean, I know people would view Brandon as a white male. Do you think people view you as like
A white
a
man.
white woman?
I actually had an exercise about that in race, class, and gender. We had a checklist of like a racial checklist, and it was saying, I don't know, I actually have it.
It's probably over there.
Yeah, it was really interesting because it was like, oh, like personal questions and how people view you, and it's weird because like being a Mexican American who was raised in Mexico,
And I feel like that's even more difficult. It's like a layer of difficultness that you.
because most Mexican Americans here in the
Are
states,
from
most
here.
Mexican Americans that you hear of in general, like
Are
grew up
from-
in the states.
Exactly. Yeah.
You hardly ever see a person born in the states, raised in Mexico with both parents. It's just like
Yeah.
I feel like my boat is even smaller, and the fact that I am very white, like pale skin.
See,
it's
I
just-
don't even think of you as very pale. I mean,
Really?
like I think of myself as very pale, but I don't think of you as very pale. Do you think that we're very like different shades? I mean, I'm much more
I'm
like
pinker, yeah.
pale.
I don't know, but like I know that when I go to the store, like people think like normal white girl. Like
Really, you think?
that's
so?
what I think, because that's what Brandon's always told me. Like I remember freshman year, he's like, "You're not Mexican, you're white." Do you remember telling me that? He'd always used to tell me that, so that made me so self-conscious. I'm like, fuck, you're right. I like people always view me as white.
People like like people who didn't grow up around Mexican Americans think that I am white. Well, I mean technically I am white, but ethnically I'm Mexican. But I feel like people who grew up around like Mexican Americans
Can
don't
pick up on it.
can pick up on the fact that I'm not,
Yeah.
you know. But it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting exercise.
Well, so my perspective
Put the
on
other
Wait,
ear-
hold on.
Put the
Hold
other
on one
earphone
second.
in, at least so it doesn't look to the camera.
It's an
Like
interesting exercise because like I've actually had like a white person like tell me that I was being like ethnically offensive, and I was like, I just made a comment on like my own
No.
family.
Yeah,
I just-
that
I just made a comment which I thought was really interesting. I thought it was really brave of her, and also kind of funny that she thought I was like. It was a comment on my own family. It wasn't a comment on like. It wasn't. I didn't think it was.
Let me bring the checklist because I think it's actually really interesting.
Okay. And I was like, well, I'm Mexican American. I think I have a really good take on this issue. And she was like, oh, I didn't. I thought you were white. I'm sorry. And I was like, well, my last name is Ramos. Like,
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
So look, it's just like really weird because most of it was like, okay, so I know people perceive me as this, but in the end, a lot of those questions are like, I don't know.
Whether I use credit or can count on my skin color not to work against. And like, I definitely.
I perceived you to be white because just from where I'm from, pretty much everyone who's Hispanic is quite dark. So that was just kind of what I was used to. And typically they would have a Hispanic accent as well. And so you don't at all unless you like speak Spanish. So that just kind of contributed to my perception of you as being a Anglo-Saxon.
What did you think of me the first time you saw me? Did you think I was Mexican American?
I thought you were because you just have darker hair, I think.
Yeah.
But
That's
That's
really
about it.
interesting. I don't think Tracy's hair. I think Tracy's hair actually is the same color as mine, but it looks darker because I'm.
But I don't
But
think I
I'm-
really even thought about it that much. to
Yeah,
be
I
honest.
mean-
like I don't really care, you know. Like the only thing that like made me think about it was the first time I ever saw Tracy was she was Skyping, and she was speaking Spanish really well, and so I was just like, wow, like she can speak Spanish really good, and it like I almost
Yeah.
you know. So that was the only thing that kind of made me like, you know, look at that at all. But if that hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't have thought of it as being anything.
That's true. That kind of like raises like some identifiers or whatever. Like that's a confusing place to be in. Cause I know I definitely have seen some people speaking in Spanish and I'm just like, what?
What?
Like just I don't know, like just kind of confused because
Oh,
of their
because of the person,
appearance.
yeah.
Because like I know I definitely have a lot of shame from not being able to speak Spanish.
Rightfully so.